And our newspaper reviewer, Chukwudi Obaja, is here with us in the studio. A pleasure to welcome you today. Good morning.
Thank you, Victor. I am here. So that douses your criticism of this farmer's son. Demola, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Once I talk to you, I see
Anyway,
because you're not gentleman. But
let me pay you no heed this morning. Let's begin with the leadership this morning. And the major headline here reads, Emergency Declaration on Food. Poor implementation mars 19-month exercise. That's on page 4, and it has 3 riders. Government is unserious, say experts. One state government's buy-in. Impact not felt. That's according to Professor Amalu. And just in that tiny strip above that story, Obasani El-Rufai's fight gets messier amid verbal attacks. You find details on page 19. And above that, crude price instability threatens Nigeria's 36.35 trillion naira revenue projection. That story continues on page 7. And in the blocks to the right, bandits kill 2, kidnap 5 in Kaduna, page 19. Tinubu approves 80 billion naira for Alao Dam reconstruction, page 7. And Kwara hands over Kampe Game Reserve to FG, page 7. All right? And that takes us to the blueprint. And the blueprint leads with FG okays 758 billion naira for pension liabilities, 30 million euros for student housing loan. Approves 80 billion naira for Alao Dam reconstruction. Tinubu's reforms working. That's according to Idris. And which Idris is this? Well, you have to find out on pages 1, of course, the front page, and page 8. Only 450 staffers, not 900, affected by restructuring. That's according to Kaduna Electric. And just below the nameplate, in the boxes below the nameplate, I never labeled Tinubu Akume Carlo corrupt as EFCC chair. That's according to Ribadu, and that story is on page 7. In business, POS transactions climbed to 18 trillion naira 2024. That's according to a report, and it's on page 18. And in sports, 2026 World Cup qualifiers, how Bafana will beat Super Eagles to ticket. How Bafana will beat Super Eagles to ticket, that's according to their coach, page 32. And then there is this picture story of the wife of the Vice President, Hajia Shetima, First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, with former military President General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, and of course, wife of Niger State Governor Hajia Fatima Bago, when the First Lady paid a private visit to the former military president at his Mina residence on Tuesday. And below that picture story, stakeholders caution as Obasani El-Rufai feud deepens. Governor will soon come to judgment, ex-governor. You lack moral right, Sani clearing mess inherited from you. That's according to KPUF. So let's leave it at that, but not before I read this last one at the bottom of the front page of the blueprint. High-intensity rainfall in May and June may lead to flash floods. That's according to Keyamo, page 17. Ademola.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. I have the Vanguard newspaper with me, and just above the nameplate, we have the federal government to roll out 7 million smart meters in 2025. Details on page 20. Federal government flags off tolling on federal highways. Details on page 9. I never said Tinubu, Akume, Kalu were corrupt when I was EFCC chairman, Ribadu. Details on page 5. Tinubu declines assent to federal varsity Noman bill, cites errors. Details on page 9. And below the nameplate, the major headline reads, Alarm as cartels target teenage girls for organ harvesting. Outlines of the nefarious lucrative trade in Nigeria how young girls are snared into donating eggs. International Federation of Fertility Society rail against protests. Details of that story can be found on page 14. NCAA gives Kenya Airways 48 hours to apologize for passengers' maltreatment. Details on page 8. Federal government to raise 758 billion bond to clear backlog of pension liabilities. Details of that story can be found on page 32. El-Rufai slams Governor Sani over sycophantic support for Tinubu. Details on page 8. Iheanacho faces Borough fans' rejection. That's on sports. Details of that story can be found on page 39. Over to you, Chooks.
I never said Tinubu, Akume, and Kalu were corrupt. What I can't say categorically is whether he mentioned Tinubu, Akume, but there was a tendency by the former EFCC chairman to tell us that politicians were a big problem to the country. You know, he is my Ribadu, so I wouldn't like him to begin to do a kind of about face. But then, it's understandable. He now works for government. He is not the Ribadu we knew. In fact, he's a politician.
No.
He's not the Ribadu we knew. It was like the case of Stanley Makebu of blessed memory. He got into government, and at the press council meeting we had in Abuja, he asked journalists to stop searching for the truth, that they wouldn't find it. I said, Makebu has killed me. Oh. But that was Makebu in a different place. So we should understand these things. The important thing is that Ribadu is one of the people who are behind the decapitation we're seeing among insurgent leaders and all that, which is beginning to check. Food seems to have started coming a bit out of the north more and more. That is because the banditry is being effectively fought. Let us concentrate on those things and not engage in, I said I didn't say that. That's immaterial. Tinubu would hold conversation with his bitterest enemy if he thinks there's result to be achieved at the end of the day. People should read this man and stop bothering themselves. I'm a farmer, or I'm an aspiring farmer. Emergency declaration on food, poor implementation must.
Sorry, Chooks,
yes,
which one do we pick now?
Which one?
Aspiring farmer or as a farmer?
Virtualize in the middle. Maybe we'll just say alleged farmer.
Adjectives.
Alleged
Which one do we pick?
Can you hear him? We are here for serious business.
Virtualize in the middle.
Alleged farmer. Okay, aspiring, aspirant, it depends on what adjective you want to fix into a particular context. Okay? Good. Now, this thing about agriculture is straightforward to me. Well, many things are straightforward to me in life. It's just that men, when they come in with their funny thinking, they begin to confuse rather straightforward matters. What are we talking about in this case? The biggest thing that can get, the biggest foreign exchange earner within a short time for this country is agriculture. What action you're putting out towards agriculture is what makes the difference. It goes beyond small-scale credit to small-scale farmers to obliterating the concern by European Union, US and the rest of them, about toxicity, possible toxicity from the pesticides and the fertilizers we use. Help farmers handle that. When you do that, you're preparing them for export because those things will become exportable. Handle those ones. When you do it and inject money on a massive scale, don't give it to the bureaucracy to organize. Get in some private hands in a task force kind of arrangement. You'll get results. This back and forth, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's so easy to know what to do. Do we have the will?
But I think that's why the National Identity Management Commission is coming up with the general multipurpose identity card, and the pilot for it is actually agriculture, where the cards can be distributed to farmers to enable them access whatever it is that government is tied to their NIN, their national identity numbers, and then they can use it to access whatever benefits or whatever derivables there are from government.
That will take it one notch higher. than what the dog tie man did. Remember the e-wallet that helped farmers to get fertilizers rather easily. Akewumi will forever be a hero to me. When he came in with his tie, I said, this one, they won't make Minister of Agriculture. I didn't know the man was thinking he was thinking
He actually
technology.
insisted on agri.
That's where you're going. Whatever we
So
do.
don't judge the man by the
Exactly, my brother. I have to confess.
the content.
Yes,
is
the man was
most
effective.
important.
So let's go this way. It will even take us a notch higher, as I said earlier. The important thing at the end of the day is for us to have a better story concerning these issues. Very
This
important.
organ harvesting.
To be forewarned is to be forearmed. And let me throw it back at us. We know the organ harvesters. We know the bandits. We know the criminals in town. Let us be part of combating things that are un-African, really un-African. That's not who we were. You know, I'm sorry when I come here I sound old school. It's because I'm convinced old school is the best school. Let us go back to whom we were. When people could keep their palm nuts on our farm path, somebody will come take the palm nuts and keep your money there for you. The next day you came, took your money. And nobody stole anything from anybody. Daily Times was dropped at people's doors. Nobody took them away. The person it was for eventually would pick it up and pay his. We were good people. What happened to us? Let's get the organ harvesters by, first of all, helping the police to identify them. We know them.
Before we go, I wanted to speak to these federal government flags off tolling of federal highways. What do you think will be the implication of that?
Implication is that Nigerians are going to groan more. It's just like telling us smart meters are coming. I hope when smart meters come, it's not going to mean smart money from my pocket, which is already wretched.
You
How
can
can
bet
anything
on
wretched
that.
produce anything smart? But at the end of the day...
What about road maintenance and all that?
Thank you. You have dropped the word I was going to. It is not building that matters. It's maintaining that matters. Gone are the days when Dumers will give you a road. I hope I'm not portraying myself as Methuselah, you know?
No.
You know, Dumers will give you a road that was almost 6 inch in thickness. And you forget repairs for 15 years.
The House of...
So we need money to maintain the road. It's to our benefit. So let them organize it properly and implement
I
it.
know that the House of Representatives did pass a bill,
Yes.
which was hinged on, tolling
Yes.
to get roads, so that we just get roads in good shape.
Yes.
Tolling to get roads in good shape, because government can't fund the decay
Exactly.
on the roads.
Exactly.
But that bill never got accent.
It never got assent. It's never got assent, maybe. But remember that the PPP arrangement has been in place for some time now. It is not just public, the private is being part of it. And they have a way of recouping their money as well. So we're already on that path. The most important thing is sincerity of purpose.
Thank you, Chooks, for being part of today's production. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues.